WWE Hall of Famers Eric Bischoff and X-Pac appear on NXT last night. Gunther reportedly is set to sign a brand new contract with WWE. An update on Juice Robinson officially being pulled from the Continental Classic with Commander replacing him. Eddie Thorpe qualifies for the Iron Survivor Challenge at NXT Deadline, but is then attacked backstage by a mystery assailant. Ren Sinclair also qualifies for the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge at Deadline. An NXT Underground match is set for this weekend, as well as an NXT Tag Team title match, plus more details on the second Saturday night's main event after it returns later on this month. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with Eric Bischoff on NXT last night. Now, Eric Bischoff and X-Pac both made appearances on this week's WWE NXT in the final push to this weekend's NXT Deadline Premium Live event. Tuesday night's show saw Bischoff appear to moderate a face-to-face between Trick Williams and Ridge Holland, who will battle for Williams' NXT Championship at Saturday's event. Bischoff talked about how NXT was the future of wrestling and that he felt the same energy he did when he launched Nitro and then unleashed the NWO. He praised both Holland and Williams, saying Holland reminded him of guys he grew up watching like Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher, who took what they wanted. Meanwhile, he said Williams was the evolution of the business. The promo turned into a back and forth between Holland and Williams before eventually they came to blows when Williams took issue with Holland, calling him soft. Holland eventually got the upper hand and hit a Redeemer onto the commentary table. Meanwhile, X-Pac appeared in a backstage segment with Javon Evans and talked about how Evans reminded him of him. He noted that Evans is the same age as he was when he defeated Razor Ramon, and he believes in Evans. They did a two sweet together before the segment ended. Now, Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion, may be a newly turned babyface, but he's about to sign a brand new contract with WWE, according to a new report. WWE sources have claimed to Fightful Select on December 2nd that World Heavyweight Champion Gunther was closing in on a new contract. Sources in the company expect it to be done this year, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Those that Fightful spoke to claim the deal was long-term, multi-year deal, and the company has been thrilled with Gunther's performance in the ring and at media obligations. One WWE higher-up referred to Gunther as among the most professional talents they have ever worked with. Now, some clarification as to what's going on in the Continental Classic after Juice Robinson sustained an injury. Now, Juice Robinson's Continental Classic campaign couldn't have gotten off to a worse start on the November 30th episode of AEW Collision. Not only, of course, did he lose his opening match against Will Ospreay, but he also suffered an injury that saw him appear at the WrestleCade convention on crutches. Sadly, Robinson's tournament has come to an end, as AEW President Tony Khan has confirmed via social media that Robinson has withdrawn from the Continental Classic due to injury, with his replacement being former AAA World Cruiserweight Champion Commander. Quote, "Due to injury, Juice Robinson cannot complete the Continental Classic, aiming to prove that he can hang with the world's very best high-flying rising star Commander, will join the field as Gold League first alternate, and the upcoming schedule will be adjusted accordingly," end quote. Now, there's no time frame on when Robinson could potentially return to the ring. It was recently reported by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer that Robinson had sustained a broken foot. It has since been confirmed by Fightful Select that the injury was actually a broken fibula, but regardless of where the injury was, AEW reportedly knew by the end of the weekend that Robinson would not be able to continue with the tournament. It has not been confirmed as to whether Commander will have to wrestle Ospreay to make up for Robinson's injury, but if he doesn't, he will have to try and play catch-up by attempting to defeat Brody King, Ricochet, Claudio Castagnoli, and Darby Allin. Out of those remaining opponents, Commander has technically crossed paths with everyone apart from Ricochet in various battle royals. However, he has only faced Castagnoli in singles action, that being on the June 30, 2023 episode of AEW Rampage, where Castagnoli successfully defended his Ring of Honor World Championship at the time. Now, going back to NXT last night, Eddie Thorpe had a very interesting evening. Despite ongoing issues with General Manager Ava getting in his way, Eddie Thorpe is one step closer to challenging NXT champion Trick Williams at New Year's Evil for his title after defeating three other men in a last chance qualifier match on NXT. Thorpe defeated Lexis King, Cedric Alexander, and one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions Axiom to earn his spot in the Iron Survivor match at Deadline. He will join former NXT champion Ethan Page, the other half of the Tag Team Champions Nathan Frazer, Javon Evans, and Wes Lee in the match on Saturday. All the other contenders were watching the match from inside the arena, with Page on commentary. The match was fast-paced, with all four men getting their big hits in. Axiom hit a super Spanish fly to Thorpe, who barely kicked out. Axiom followed up with a submission, but Alexander hit him with a splash, but couldn't make the cover. Alexander gained momentum and attempted to pin King, but Thorpe got in his way. Axiom was able to hit a golden ratio to King, but Thorpe pulled Axiom out of the ring and stole a pinfall on King to get the victory and advance to Deadline. As the episode came to a close, though, Thorpe was found backstage unconscious, so his participation in Saturday's show is now suddenly once again unclear. Now, speaking of the Iron Survivor Challenge matches, we now know the complete field for the women's side of things. Like Ethan Page at NXT Heatwave, Ren Sinclair seems to have been in the right place at the right time last night, though not totally consciously. In the opener of this week's NXT episode, Sinclair, Cora Jade, Jada Parker, and Kalani Jordan competed in a last-chance qualifying match in which the winner claimed the final spot in the 2024 Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Each of the women eagerly fought to secure their spot, but it was a spinning back fist from Lola Vice that proved to be the game changer. In the contest's final moments, Jordan landed a 450 splash on Jade and covered her for a pinfall. Parker, however, slammed Sinclair on top of them to break it up before positioning Jordan in the corner for a potential springboard seated senton. As Parker charged towards Jordan, she noted Lola Vice standing on the ring apron. Looking poised to strike her, Parker ducked Vice's fist just in time, causing Sinclair to be hit with it instead. As Sinclair subsequently fell on top of Jade in a pinning position, Vice pulled Parker out the ring, preventing her from breaking the fall. With Sinclair's victory, she joins the likes of Julia, Sol Ruka, Stephanie Bakwa, and Zarya in the 2024 Women's Iron Survivor Challenge at NXT Deadline on December 7th. Like years past, the winner of this bout will guarantee themselves a future shot at the NXT Women's Championship, which is currently held by the prodigy Roxanne Perez. Elsewhere, NXT Deadline, of course, we will also have the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. But coming out of that match, we got another match announced for NXT Deadline, and it's an NXT Underground match. Jada Parker accepted Lola Vice's challenge for an underground match during NXT. Parker was competing in the last chance fatal four-way for the final spot in the Iron Survivor Challenge at Deadline and looked to be in the running to win the bout as Vice interfered once again, removing Parker from the ring as Ren Sinclair pinned Cora Jade to earn herself qualification. An incensed Parker emerged after the match had concluded, demanding the referee remove the ropes so they can have an underground match that Vice suggested last week. However, NXT General Manager Ava emerged to say that she wouldn't allow her to compete twice in one night, but she will book the match for Deadline. Vice re-emerged in light of the announcement, but found her words met with a spinning back elbow to lay her out, with Parker continuing to jeer over her fallen rival. Of course, Parker defeated Vice in a no disqualification match, with Dawn Marie serving as special guest referee during NXT 2300 in November, but Vice holds the statistical advantage going into that underground match, with Parker having not competed under the stipulation compared to her two victories over main roster stars Shayna Baszler and Natalya throughout this year. Now, speaking of Deadline, a tag team championship match is also confirmed for the show. No Quarter Catch crews Miles Bourne and Tavon Heights will take on NXT tag team champions Nathan Frazer and Axiom at Deadline on Saturday after defeating 5 of the tag teams in number 1 contenders Battle Royal on NXT. The No Quarter Catch crew faced off against Out the Mud, Gallus, Tariq Agui, and Tyson DuPont, Gallus, the family, and Hank and Tank, after all tag teams on the developmental brand had been brawling for weeks after NXT General Manager Ava told them to step up their game. Hank Walker and Tank Ledger were the last team to get to the ring, and the chaos of the match immediately started. It took for a while to be thrown out the ring, and even longer for a full team to be eliminated, as both men on a team had to be thrown out for the entire team to no longer qualify. DuPont was the first man thrown over the top rope, and the families Channing Stacks Lorenzo and Luca Crisafino were the first full team eliminated. As the match went on, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang were the only team left as they faced off against Ledger, Bourne, and Lucian Price. Wolfgang was eliminated, and Coffey followed directly after Bourne and Ledger caused Price to lose his balance on the top turnbuckle. Bourne threw him out and threw out Ledger and drop-kicked Price off the turnbuckle to eliminate him as well. Bourne and Heights will go on to face the ever-squabbling Fraxium on Saturday. And finally, a bit of an update here when it comes to the next edition of Saturday Night's Main Event. We already know about the first, but what about the second? Now, WWE Saturday Night's Main Event will make its big return to NBC for the first time in 16 years on December 14th, with a number of high-profile matches already confirmed. However, the second edition of the show isn't going to be too long after that, as Dave Meltzer explained when the next episode will take place on Wrestling Observer Radio, and how the dates for the rest of the installments will be determined. Quote, it'll be January 25th, so that's the date that's out there for a while, but WWE did confirm it to me, Meltzer said. It's the Saturday before the Royal Rumble, so they're going to be doing Saturday night's main events 8 to 10 p.m. on NBC, and it's going to be 4 times a year, which is from the original release, so I guess the idea is one every quarter at some point during a 3-month period. So that's the date NBC wanted, and people are going like, why would you do it right before? You'd have to promote that and the Royal Rumble at the same time. The deal is when they get the date from NBC, that is the date they run. They don't run NBC. NBC is the one who makes the choice, end quotes. While a date is in place for the second installment of the series, no arena has been booked at the time of recording, but that all could change following the December 14th show that currently has Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against Kevin Owens, Liv Morgan defending the Women's World Championship against Io Sky, and the finals of the Women's United States Championship tournament. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey, guys. Thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.